Hey guys, I just really wanted to sit down and play with some makeup today. Some things are new, some things I've used before a million times, and some things I'm still kind of like I've played around with a little bit and wanted to play around with them a little bit more. So if you want to play around with some makeup with me, then let's go ahead and get into it. I'm starting with the eyes today because I really don't know where this is going to go. I have a palette I want to use that can have a lot of fallout, so I thought it'd be best to start with the eyes, that way we don't ruin our base makeup. I just want to play around and do something different and fun. So I just primed my lids with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and I'm just setting that with the Coty Airspun powder. Okay, I pulled out this Anastasia Subculture palette, which a lot of people don't really like that much, but I actually really like it. I haven't used it in a really long time though, and I pulled it out and some of these colors are just calling to me, like these yellows. So I'm thinking about doing something that's kind of all matte, using maybe some of these like yellows, and I don't really know. We'll see where this goes. The tricky thing about this palette is you really have to be very gentle. It's packed in very softly, so if you're digging into the brush really furiously, then you're going to end up with a ton of fallout. Basically the shadow itself in the pan is going to just crumble away, and you're going to pick up way too much product, so you won't even be able to blend it out well on your eyes. So you really want to start slow with this palette so that you don't end up making a huge disaster. So I'm going to start with this yellow shade over here, and I'm literally just going to tap in 2 times, and you can already see that was the first time I've dipped into that shade, and it's already picked up so much product, and that was so gentle and just twice dipping in, so you gotta be nice and careful. First of all, just because this is really loose, I'm just going to kind of stamp where I want it so that it kind of presses the pigment onto the skin. I have a feeling I'm about to look like fall, and it's spring, almost summer, so oh well. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of a smaller brush and this little bit of a darker kind of mustardy shade. Ooh. And then we're going to just kind of pack this on. I think these blend out so nice. People have so many issues with this palette, but if you really work slow and gentle with the pans and you sort of press the pigment on first and then blend, they work really great. I really don't even experience that much fallout. Actually, I changed my mind. I said I was going to do all matte, and I think instead we're going to do a little bit of spotlight eye again. So I'm going to take this shade to deepen up the outer corners and inner corners. I recently did a spotlight eye in a video where I followed a Kim Kardashian makeup look. I really loved the way it turned out, so I will link that down below if you want to check that one out. It was really fun to recreate, but after doing that spotlight eye, I just really wanted to do another because it was so fun to do, and it turned out so cool. It was kind of random though. I actually filmed that video before the Met Gala, based on a look that I found on Makeup by Mario's Instagram a long time ago. I think it was years ago, and I had it saved and I had never recreated it, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna do that. And then we were out of town, so I didn't get to upload it before the Met Gala or anything, so I went back and looked at it later, and it looks pretty similar to the look that she ended up doing at the Met Gala, which I thought was crazy. So it was sort of on accident inspired by the Met Gala look. So I loved doing that look. Again, I'll link that down below if you want to see that. Now that most of the pigment is off, I'm just going to kind of go between the two so that that brown shade is sort of dragged up into the crease as well. Just giving it a little more depth. And then I'm going to go back into all my transition shades and sort of just deepen those up one more time to make sure we didn't lose any of that pigment. When I first thought about doing the halo eye just a minute ago, I thought I would go in with this shade right here, this kind of like bronzy shade in the center. But now I'm thinking I'm going to go with this one. It's this kind of weird like greeny gold, and I feel like it will be a really fun like pop of color. So I'm just going to kind of go in with my fingertips and see if I can get that to blend out okay, I guess. It's sort of like sheer, I would say. I almost feel like I need a base. I'm going to take the tiniest bit of concealer to just sort of prep that area so that the shade that we put on is nice and bright. Ugh, this shade's just not doing anything. Darn it. I just tried to pack a little bit on and it's still just so sheer. It's kind of one of those more like iridescent shades, I guess. Maybe it's better used as a top coat, but it's not looking too good right now. I'm trying to look for another like more similar shade, but I don't really have anything similar to that. So I think I am just going to go into this shade instead, which is kind of a bummer, but that's okay. Because that's pretty. Wow. This shade's so much more like foiled and pigmented. I don't know what's wrong with that other one. Taking our brown from before, I'm just going to blend the edges. Like it's definitely still pretty, but it's just not what I was hoping for, just because of that one shade. If I had known that that shade wasn't going to be so good, I would have done a completely different look. Let's try to layer it on top though. Ooh, okay. So this is like a layering shade then, I suppose. Well, that definitely gave it a little something different, so that's nice. I really want to take this nice like kind of teal blue under the lower lash line. Look how far that goes. I barely dipped in. It's obviously looking a little crazy because there's nothing else on my face or eyebrows even at all. But I think that this will look really good once we get everything on. So I think we're going to leave that there. I'm going to take the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter to do my inner corner. I feel like we definitely need something nice and bright. This is the Nikki Tutorials edition, so it's definitely very fair. And I really like it, especially for the inner corner. I'll use it on the face just to like pinpoint highlight, but I don't use it like all over because it's kind of metallic, I would say. I'm gonna try to layer this shade on over top of my inner corner just to see if we can get a different effect at all. This shade's just like not that good. Okay, I went ahead and did my brows and my mascara off camera, and I feel like it's kind of pulling everything together very nicely. I'll have all the products that I used listed down below in case you are curious. My brows, I just filmed a video on how I like to fill them in to make them look very natural yet very full. This is kind of that whole vibe, and I'll link that video down below if you want to see how I do that. We've got this really dramatic eye look going on, but my base might be a little bit more sheer, so we'll see how this all looks. I have been looking for a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer that actually provides some amount of coverage, and NYX came out with a new one, so I really wanted to try this out. This is the Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil. I know that there's a couple skin tints that are in the $30 range that are more high-end that I think work really well, but I really would love to find one from the drugstore that I like. So I saw this and thought that it might be a good option. It was a brand new display for these at Ulta when I went, so I feel like there might be some more shades that we're missing. Sometimes they just bring a couple into stores to see how it goes. But there was one, like the shade 01, and then it jumped straight to 04. I hated 01. It was very, very, very light and very pink. So I grabbed 04, which might be a little dark. With skin tints, a lot of times the coverage is sheer enough that a wider variety of people can wear one specific shade. So I thought that maybe it would work, but we will see. The Bear With Me name here seems to be a whole new line with NYX. They had a jelly primer, they had some cheek tint, like stain type things. They had this, they had lots of stuff. It seems like a fun, like new line that they've got within NYX now. So this was $13. It has 4.3 stars with 114 reviews. 12 shades. Not too bad for a skin tint, I would say. But I'm pretty sure I ended up with not the shade that I would have picked if I had known that there were 12, because I think there was only like 5 or 6 in store. But anyway, we're gonna see how it goes. I'm actually going to just take it in on my finger and kind of buff it into the skin with my hands. Oh, it's a little dark. I'm I'm just going to pounce over everything. It blended out pretty nicely with my hands, but it also left a couple spots that were kind of like streaky. It's actually nice that it's a little bit darker because I can see that it did provide some coverage, which is really good. This definitely applied more like, it felt more like a foundation than a moisturizer. In a different video, I tried out the Neutrogena tinted moisturizer and that really felt just like a moisturizer. I'll link that video down below if you want to see me try out all the Neutrogena makeup. But this definitely felt more like a foundation. It definitely set down to where it doesn't feel super like sticky or anything. It doesn't feel completely like powdery, but it definitely feels like it's set down more like a foundation than like a tinted moisturizer. So first impressions, I actually really like it. I like that it has a little bit of coverage, but it's nothing crazy. It's definitely, I would say, like medium coverage, but I definitely feel like this is not my shade. Oh, so this really is the second to lightest shade, so that kind of stinks, but I can just take it down my neck a little bit, and luckily, like I said, it's sheer enough that it doesn't look like too off. What do you guys think? Definitely still see a lot of my imperfections. I really think I like it. So I'm gonna have to play around with it with a couple different like tools of application to see if I can get it to work any differently. Just gonna spot conceal a couple things here. Kind of take this down the centers here a little bit. Hey, that blended out nicely on top. I'm gonna do just like a little bit more right here. It definitely looks a little bit more makeup-y in the places where I have the concealer down. I'll try to show you here on my chin. I don't know if you can really see that. Definitely looks a little makeup-y, so I don't know if that was more from the concealer or the combination of the two or just the skin tint, but that's where we're at. I'm only gonna set just right in these little creases underneath my eye. And I'm just using the translucent powder to make sure that the eyeshadow is going up at the angle that I want. So I just get a little bit on my brush and I'll sort of just wiggle it over here. That way it's not like a harsh line, it's still blended out. Kind of clean it up a little bit. One other new thing I wanted to try is this Physicians Formula, the Healthy Powder. I saw Shelby Wilson talk about this. I will link her channel down below. I love her and I love her like video style. I love her makeup style. She's awesome. And she really loves just to do like a light dusting of this powder all over the skin. So I thought that I would try it out. Just sort of a powder foundation. So I'm just going to sort of dust this over some of the other areas of the skin, just to see what the effect is like. Wow, that's actually very, very flawless looking. I really, really like this. Taking my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, we're just going to bronze the perimeter of the skin here. Just took a little bit down the sides of my nose just to add in a little bit of color. Okay, I feel like everything's looking good so far. The bronzer really blended well on top of that skin tint. I have this Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in Mellow Wine. It's very pigmented looking and super dark, but I kind of want to try it out. I've never really used it. I'm going to take it in on a stippling brush because this is going to just help sheer it out and make sure that we don't apply too much. Stippling brushes have almost like different textures and different lengths of bristles so that it just applies a lot sheerer and blends out a lot more smooth. Sometimes if I feel like if I've gotten too much product on my skin, I will use a stippling brush to just kind of pick up anything extra. So it's really just good at kind of blending things out. So I feel like it will be good with this kind of really, really dark pigmented blush. Pretty. Oh, I like this. If you ever get too much, just kind of tap it off in your hand a little bit. Wow, I really, really like this. I feel like in the store sometimes things look a lot lighter and then when you get home you're like, holy cow, that is so dark. And I kind of felt that way about this, so I've never really used it. But now that I have, I think it is so, so pretty, especially for summer, because it almost has like a, I would say like sunburnt kind of a look. So if you get a little bit of color and you want to try something that's a little bit more kind of a mid-tone, pinky, sunburny, melony color, oh, it's really pretty. I'm going to use my ColourPop highlighter in Lunch Money. Sorry about that. I love these SuperShock highlighters. Definitely want to apply them with your fingertip. I feel like that is the way to make them look the best. My skin's been really textured lately, so I applied a little here, but I have quite a bit of little bumps going on. And same with on my chin, so it doesn't look quite as smooth as it normally does, but I still overall really like that highlighter, and it looks a lot better than a lot of other super blinding highlighters would on this textured of skin. Oh, and I also have a video of all my favorite highlighting tips and tricks and products, so if you want to see that, I will link that down below. That includes creams, powders, brushes, everything that you need to get a nice, natural, but very glowy, dewy looking highlight. Okay, just examining my skin even further. I know I set it with powder, but I do feel like this skin tint is a little bit more on the matte side, which is really nice, and it has quite a bit of coverage, which I like. It does look to be settling a little bit into the lines on my forehead, which happens to me more often than not, so it's not a huge deal for me. But everything else looks good. The product's blended well on top of it. I'm just gonna have to try it a couple more times just to like see what I really think. Everything looks good. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and set my skin. This makeup look went in a very different direction than I had previously anticipated. I thought I would do like an all matte eye, just like one or two colors, keep it kind of like almost messy looking, and then really effortless like dewy skin. Not really what we have going on, but I like it. Let's just do a lip really quick and then we will be all done. Okay, I'm going to use my favorite lip liners of all time, these LA Girl Ultimate Lip Intense Auto Stay, whatever, I don't know, the name is so long, liners. This one is in the shade Keep It Spicy, and I'm just going to kind of outline my lips a little bit. And for lipstick, I'm going to use this Dose of Colors lipstick from Desi x Katy. This is in Hey Girl. It's a lot more warm toned than I would typically go for, but with a look like this where I've got a lot of yellows and things going on, I think that it will look really good. Plus, when you blend a little bit of a lip liner onto, it doesn't come off so like orange looking because you're just using a smaller amount and blending it into the lip liner shade. So I'm hoping it looks good. And then I'll pat it in with my fingertip. Ooh, okay. Okay, I surprisingly really like that. I don't know why I thought it was so orange, because it's actually way more like peachy on the lips. It looks really good. I'm very happy about that. I do just want to top it off with my Moonchild gloss from ColourPop. I just love a glossy lip lately. Okay, there we have it. It's kind of crazy because looking at my skin now, you wouldn't know that this is just a skin tint. Like, it looks pretty flawless and like pretty full coverage, so I'm pretty impressed. But overall it looks good. Still just sort of a matte finish. It's definitely like a medium coverage kind of thing. So if I hadn't spot concealed at all, it would have been a little bit less perfect looking. So that's just something to note, but I love how everything else turned out. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. This look was super fun to create. I am actually really in love with a lot of it. The skin tint's great. I'm gonna play around with it a little bit more. I wish they had a little bit of a better shade for me, but that's okay. Given that it's a skin tint, it blended pretty well into the rest of my body once I took it down my neck, so that's all good. The blush is so pretty. I'm very surprised how much I loved this, so I'm going to keep playing with this one. This shade is really, really nice for summertime. Again, it's Mellow Wine. I think I really love this powder. It made my skin around like my nose and chin look pretty perfect, where it wasn't looking that great before. So I'm excited to keep layering this onto foundations that I have tried to see kind of how it looks. And then I've never really worn this before, but now that I have it on my lips, I don't know why, because I really, really like it, especially blended into that lip liner. I think that sometimes when I just straight up apply a lipstick without any sort of lip liner to blend it into, I can get a little bit like, ooh, that's really like bright, or that's really warm toned, or that kind of thing. But once you blend it into a lip liner, I feel like it really helps kind of tone that down. It makes it a lot more wearable, and now I like really love this shade. So I'm really excited I try that again. All the other products will be listed down below if I forgot to mention anything. But yeah, I'm very excited that I played around with this makeup today. Hopefully you enjoyed this look and enjoyed watching this video. And hopefully this helped you if you're looking for a good kind of like skin tint or any of these products. That way you can kind of know my thoughts on them. Thanks again for watching. I've probably said that like 15 times now, but I really appreciate it. It means so much to me when people sit down and watch my videos, especially to see people comment and be able to interact with people makes me like really happy. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.